Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Vanessa's Journeys. Hello, 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 and how are you? I'm doing well. Thank you very much. You may be wondering why I have the headphones around my neck. Well, there's a reason for that. Today is a garden/house day. And we had rain yesterday, heavy rain, so the garden, the dirt is wet, which will be easier to pull up the weeds. And I have a day off today. I have no ministry plans, and I don't have any English lessons today. So today I can spend in my yard because tomorrow's supposed to be rainy all day. So I'm trying to get things done while we have the sun shining and before the next bout of thunderstorms come. They're supposed to come around 3. So I have about 3 hours to get some work done, which I should be able to get a lot done in that time. Stay focused, stay focused. I loved putting on my headphones because I can listen to some worship music. I can listen to some Bible teachings, and it just really draws me closer to God. You know, you're working in the earth and you're seeing plants grow, and it's all a God thing. It all comes together. So yes, today is also a laundry day, a house day. So I've got laundry hanging here. I've got my sheets hanging up, and some other things. I do that is because it's nice out. And then I don't have to use my dryer, and it's less electricity. And I've got the great sunshine that can dry my clothes, and they smell April fresh, spring fresh. You know how they have on those, laundry softener bottles, like spring fresh smell. So I get the natural spring fresh smell, and it's really cool just to climb into freshly laundered sheets at the end of the day, and that have been hung on the line to dry. So it's really cool. So what's been going on? I left you last month. We had just finished our Rangers camp, and we were working with the kids on teamwork, on how to work together, how to listen to each other, and how to work as a team. So you have a commander, and listening to the commander, giving suggestions, and seeing what works and see what doesn't work, and you all learning together. And we're still continuing on in that manner as we meet with the Rangers every Sunday after church. And now that it's warmer weather, we're going outside and we're doing more activities outside, team building activities. So that's always a good thing and a God thing, because in life you have to work with a team. You know, whether you're self-employed and working on the computer, there's still somebody that you have to work with. And there's still somebody that you're answerable to in some way. If you're in an office, you have your boss. You know, if you're a teacher, you have your director, you're the school, not president, but director, principal. That's the word I want. You know, so in all aspects of life, there is somewhere, somehow, that you need to learn how to work together as a team. And so we're wanting to teach them that now, as they're growing up, so that when they're ready to launch out into the world, they'll remember, oh yeah, those times when I was in Rangers, yeah, I remember that Commander Vanessa, Commander Gaia was talking about this, and this. Yeah, hey, that really resonates with me now. So we're hoping that the lessons that we teach them now will stay with them. So that's what's going on with Rangers. We had our Easter, and you'll be wondering, wait, yes, you had Easter, but we had another Easter. We had Orthodox Easter. And because Mukachpa, it has a high Catholic and a high Catholic, Protestant, and Orthodox influence, we want to be sensitive to all areas. And so we had our Easter. Joel gave a very short message, which I think was his shortest message on record. And we had a time of just fellowship, fun, and games. And we hung out together. We ate. We talked to each other more than just a, hey, how are you doing? We got involved in each other's lives, asking questions. And playing games together, card games and that sort of thing, and just talking and just being family. And that's what it's all about. You know, Easter is kind of a family day, and so we hung out as a family after church in the park. And I know that Joel wants to continue with our church in the park, kind of like times once a month, as the weather holds. It's spring going into summer, so we have a lot of rainstorms, thunderstorms. So we'll see. God knows. Yes, he's in charge of the weather, not me. With me, I would say, okay, God, you can rain on this day, you can storm on this day, but not on this day, and not on this day. You know, me trying to take control of things. Anyway, all that to say is after Easter, then we had a team come from Colombia. 2 guys, Simi and Flippy. I might have gotten the names wrong. Like Sam, and Philip. They came from Colombia to Europe, and then Europe to Ukraine. And Philippi, he is a friend of the gal who runs the youth ministry, the youth and young adult ministry. and she knew him back when she was in Bible college. And so she invited them to come. And wow, they were great. They came to English Club. That was their first ministry area. And they joined right in, and were talking to the other members of my students, or people who come to English Club. And they got involved in the game. They laughed. They had fun. It was a great time. It was really awesome. And then after English Club, the next day, we had worship night. And that was really awesome, at least for me. I really felt the Spirit move, and I don't think I've had that feeling for a long time. And for me, it wasn't like a performance. They weren't performing, but they were really just, through their music, just sharing the love of God. It was, I don't know, it's hard to explain in words, but it was really, really, really blessed time. And we had a time of communion during worship night. And what I noticed after everything was said and done, and people were kind of milling about, and they were cleaning up the communion cups, is that some of the communion, the juice had fallen on the floor. And so you had drops of grape juice on the floor. I thought, wow, it's like the blood of Christ had been spilled for us, and remission of sins. It's like, wow, okay. That was my analogy. I don't know if anybody else thought of that, but that was my analogy. So that was just a really cool thing on top of everything else. So it was a really blessed time. And then the next day, they were only here for like 3 full days. The next day, they went to the center, and they had outreach in the center, and just sharing the love of Christ in the center area. And I joined them. Later on, I had some gardening I needed to do because it rained the day before, and so I wanted to get some things done. As I watched them, and as I watched the people gathering around, the message was simple, but it wasn't an in-your-face, slap you upside one down the head, upside down the other, or as the saying goes, up and down. It was very simple, just sharing the love of Christ. And they went out and prayed. They prayed for people. People were gathering, and they would put their instruments down and go meet them and greet them and get to know them just a little bit and just pray for them. Can I pray for you? A couple of soldiers stopped, and they went and talked to them, and they prayed for them. People were milling about, and they talked to them. And it wasn't like, these are the 5 steps to become a Christian. It was just like, hey, how are you doing? How can I pray for you? Do you know Jesus? Do you love him? Not, hey, this is who we are. This is why we came. And that was really cool. And I know that my pastor Joel was there, and he was praying for people. And there was a lady sitting on the bench, and she has some psychosis problems, and she was yelling at the pigeons, and everybody was kind of walked by, kind of looking at her kind of strange. But Joel stopped, and he sat on the bench and said, hey, can I pray for you? What's your name? And her name is Allah. And so he prayed for her, and Joel's saying that while he was praying, she was calm. She wasn't like screaming and screeching at the pigeons like she had been doing before, but she was really calm. It was just a really cool time. And then after that, or before that, I think it was, I can't remember the sequence of events, but they came to the youth night, youth, young adults, and these are people who are not churched. And they come and they have a night of worship. And Joel usually comes, and when Joel comes, it's pretty fun. He has people pick a music theme, and then he has them give him 3 or 4 words, and he does a song from them. And so one of the themes, music themes was Latino music, and they gave him some words. I think taco was one of them. And then another one was classical music, and they gave him some words, and he made a song out of that. And it was just a really, they all love it. And they look forward to when Joel comes and he does his little ballads or singing. And again, it was a time to get to know the youth and to pray for them and to share the love of Christ. And again, it wasn't like a slap you in the face kind of thing. It was just like, here we are. This is who we are. And we want just to share what we love and share that with you. And we want you to know that love too. But it was not a shoving down your throat. And that's, I guess, what I really enjoyed about it. So praise God for Philippi and Simi, and just that they came, and pray for them as they journey through Ukraine and then back to Colombia. I think they're in Ukraine for the month of June, and then they make their way back to Colombia. So we invited them back. We'll see if they're able to come back or not, but God knows. And so what else is going on? Let's see, we had church in the park. We had Philippi, and then English is going really well. My kids are ending their school year, or have ended. Actually, today was the last day of school, as you might say. And my kids are getting kind of fidgety. It's that summer fidgety kind of thing. I don't want to work. I don't want to study. I just want to be left alone and play my video games all day, kind of like thing. And the parents have to remind them, yes, you still have English. With Vanessa, and it's just 1 hour of their day, and I know 1 hour to me is not much, but 1 hour for a child is when they could be out riding their bike or playing their video games or whatever. It's a lot. So pray for the kids, because some have forgotten to do their homework and some are just struggling. And pray for me that I will be able to minister to them, because it's not always about teaching. Sometimes I just have to sit and listen and say, okay, what really is the problem? What's going on here? How can I help you? And recognizing when somebody has a moody day, when somebody has a great day, and trying to incorporate games into my teaching. I know that some teachers aren't really into games, but I really feel that there's some games that we can use that can help them solidify in their brains the concepts that I'm teaching them and helping them to learn. And they don't really realize that they're learning. So, memory games and hangman and playing Jenga and that sort of thing. So I'm always looking into ways to develop my teaching so that I can better help my students and getting to know the students as well. So it's not just, this is Teacher Vanessa coming in, but this is Teacher Vanessa, your friend. Let's work on this. One thing I want to say is that one of my students, Dima, he lives here in Krishnovica. He's actually the son of the former owner of my house. And they heard about English Club and they wanted to learn more. And they said, hey, can Dima come? He's only 9, so he'd be the youngest of everybody. And I'm going to try to find some more younger students who want to come. But they want him to be able to talk more, that he's afraid of speaking because he's afraid of getting it wrong. I said, you just need to talk and not worry about if you're saying it correctly. Like me. I say everything wrong. Wrong tenses, wrong genders, that sort of thing. But, sometimes you just have to open your mouth and talk. Because that's the only way that you're going to learn. So, pray for Dima that he'll come. And it's cool because they can bring him and I can take him home. So that's a great thing. And pray for my kids as well. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is the feeding. And we have been continuing with our feeding on Thursdays. And unfortunately, I can't go on Thursdays because my ministry schedule interferes with the ministry schedule of the feeding. And so I've been buying apples. And I called the Apple Ministry. But we're going to be starting to do the feeding twice a week. Not just on Thursdays, but on Fridays as well. And there's another church that wants us to help. So that's 3 times a week. And so we're thinking about expanding it to feeding every day of the week. Because it's summer, there's more people coming. There's more people that are finding that are displaced because the refugee centers are shutting down. And that's a government thing. So I don't understand it all, but that's just the way it is. And our last center is shutting down, and some people will be moving into the church. And so we want to make sure that we're still being able to serve the people. And these are people who have come from different places in Ukraine because it's constantly be bombed, constantly. Like right now, Kharkiv, areas around Kharkiv are just constantly shelling. So like last night, they hit a multi-story building and people died. And so, yeah, it's a difficult time, and we want to not just help them physically, not just feed them physically, but also feed them the love of God. And as Joel and the people who've been helping him have been doing this feeding, they've got to know the different people. They've sat down and they've prayed for them. And some of them have been coming to church, too. So that's really cool. They're feeling welcomed enough and loved enough that they're coming into an area that they may not have come into before. So that's really a cool thing, and it's a God thing, and amen and amen. But with all that, I was sending apples from my apples from last year that hadn't rotted out. And I used all those, and then I started buying apples. And it's cost me about $60, I think, a week to buy apples for one feeding. And so and that's going to expand to two times a week. and that's going to expand to 3 times a week, and it could expand to more than that. So I'm calling this Apple Ministry. Apple Ministry / feeding out of 5,000. Apple Ministry feeding 5,000. That's what it is. Apple Ministry feeding 5,000. It's not 5,000, but it's kind of the whole analogy thing. I'm into analogies. So if you can pray for that, if you want to help with that, instructions are down below at the end of my newsletter. PayPal to my church. Earmark it, Apple Ministry. So I know that this is directly for the apples. So that's about all. I've been talking for a long time. I want to leave you. Pray for me. Pray for my garden. I'm going to go get some work done, pull some weeds. I'm going to listen to some worship music, listen to some Bible teachings, get some more laundry done before the rains come, and I'm going to enjoy my time with God here in Christian Novitsa at Vanessa's house. So I will talk to you guys later in June. Have a great day, a blessed day, and talk to you later. Love you. Bye. Mwah.